distractions. I'm pretty sure we're all human, and that I know one thing is that every human is certainly very imperfect. So if you if you identify yourself as a human these days, then you also identify yourself as imperfect, which means that you get distracted like everyone else. I know for me, a lot of times I'll be, like one time I was doing my devotionals, doing my reading, and there's these two squirrels climbing up in these trees, and I'm just sitting here watching, like, oh, this one's gonna get him. Oh, he's like right behind him, and he's like, and I'm just for like probably like almost 5 minutes. I'm sitting here, I'm like, whoa, look at, oh, he just jumped down, and I'm like, I'm losing it, and I'm losing focus. Or a lot of times, people I know will post pictures of themselves or like as a couple on social media, and I'll be looking in the background. I'm like, all right, what's going on? There's this guy. He's like looking around. He looks lost, like confused, and I'm starting to lose the main focus of what's going on in the actual picture. And I feel like the same idea and the same principle applies to our faith. We flip through the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, everything there has to offer, and we get distracted. And I feel like we lose focus. And so what do I mean by this? What is it that we're supposed to be remaining focused on and remain aware of what this is all about? Well, it says in Hebrews 12:2. Hebrews 12:2, it says, looking away from all that will distract from Jesus, who is the leader and source of our faith, and is also its finisher. He, for the joy of obtaining the prize, endured the cross, ignoring the shame, and is now seated at the right hand of God. Listen to me. This is what matters. There's a verse in the Old Testament that's there's just all these things in the Bible that are very readily debated. And the verse that came to mind is Leviticus 19:28, and it's basically saying that mention get tattoos, and then some theologians are like, oh, this doesn't apply because this is the law of Moses, and other ones are like, it's in the Bible, so it does apply. And these things, it is great to branch out and expand, but as Paul says, that as much as you can expand and be fruitful and understand, you also have to be rooted and grounded in God's word. So if this in Hebrews 12:2, it says Jesus came and he did it, he gave it all, so we didn't have to. I mean, he died, for crying out loud. What is the first thing that we tell people who don't know, people who are lost, who are confused, who are hurting? What do we tell them? We don't tell them about the Israelites' bondage in Egypt. We don't tell them all these things. Those might come later. What comes first is the gospel. That verse, that is the gospel. The gospel is the good news. The news that's good to us, because in this world, let's face it, there's so much bad. It's everywhere. We can't run away from it. Coronavirus this, racial injustice that. It's everywhere. So with all this bad news everywhere, we need some good news. I don't care whether you've never heard about anything I'm talking about so far, or whether you walk this out through your daily life. We need Jesus. And so I'm telling you right now, and I'm challenging myself and every single one of us. I challenge us, let's start our own kingdom. Hopefully YouTube doesn't take this down because I said that, but let's start our own kingdom. We need to start and you can become infected with this pandemic that I'm talking about. I just want you to take just a few minutes and get somewhere where there's nothing going on, where it's just you and God. And I just want you to think about Jesus, what he did, and that he died for. I want you to vividly see that in your mind. I know when I did this for myself, because I did this too, it was almost like I had found out about the good news all of it. It was that powerful. And I think we need to do this. We need to do this ongoing. And I'm telling you, just get excited, man. Just get hyped. Just be like, yeah! Woo! My neighbors think I'm crazy already. It doesn't matter, but get excited. It's gonna change. It's one thing to know, you might maybe know about Jesus or even know who Jesus is through salvation, but it's a completely different thing to just get excited about what God has for the world and what God has for us as individuals. So I'm praying that God would open our eyes more, that our hearts would be softened and know the reality of Jesus every single day in our lives. That's all I have today. God bless.